To Jasper's mild surprise and irritation, the utter bitch actually takes that as an invitation to monologue. Try? Try do I look like the shadow cuts off her speech with a sudden eruption of axiom as the waters behind Jasper suddenly form into high-pressure blasts. He dodges to his left and sees the water carve through solid stone. No monologue, just a distraction. Clever. The next attack could not be more telegraphed if she mail-ordered it to him. A long sweep of her arm and the ground divides and shatters in a direction, and danger, extreme danger. He dodges back, gathering air around himself and breaching the edge of the ritual circle she had been making under him. The sensation of the other direction shifts and twists itself into a knot before he can sense a spike of annoyance from the shadow, and he dodges the anchor thrown at him. It drags the air bubble with it, and he blocks something that he could only sort of sense in the disruption of the axiom, possibly a boulder. It shatters against his sword parry and he skids back a little. He gathers axiom in his blades and plunges them into the ground. The disrupting pulse causes the barriers of the anchors to shift before going back into shape. Was that supposed to stop me? That weak little pulse? The shadow asks in a mocking tone. He doesn't bother answering. He just rips control of the boundary field he just felt out and sends a pressure wave to the corpse and timber halo. He shears off a few planks and pulps a dead body in the attack, and as she flinches he sends dozens more. She's utterly gone, and he dodges back as his senses scream danger at him. She reaches for control of the boundary field, and rather than fight for the field he simply fights her control of the field. The water wavers and then pours in. Before it reaches he shifts. As she scrambles to get full control of the field again, he gets up to her and swings his swords. She dodges because of course she would, and he then carries the momentum to attack his actual target. The halo. He sends a brutal pulse through it and shatters half the timber and cadaver construct in a single swing before snapping out his wings to slam into the ground and dodge the, whatever it was she just attacked at him with. He feigns left and then springs right to avoid her next furious attack and sprints around with ease. A human would be tempted to turn their head and see, but he is an earthany. His antennae tell him all he needs to know. He's being chased by a shroud of darkness constantly rearing up to try and slam into him. That it leaves the seaweed desiccated and torn in its wake leaves him no illusions as to what it will do to him. There's an outright growl of frustration as the shadow tries to chase him down with the dark things she's manipulating. It's one thing for your blow to be dodged, but for your opponent to not even look is infuriating. For a being with such power and control, she seems to have little control of herself when things don't go her way. It's all Jasper can do not to spit in derision. She's someone that found out one amazing trick and has been riding it. This has probably been the longest fight she can ever remember having. With the trump card of ripping out someone's soul, controlling the environment around them, and then having that halo to enhance her abilities, there are probably few things she can't kill without even trying. She's forgotten the struggle, and remembering is making her angry, which makes her sloppy. Pathetic insect. Is all you have to offer irritation? She demands, and he resists, scoffing back. He could tell her that insect-borne diseases and famines have killed far more people than any amount of wild beasts, but he doesn't have the time or inclination to teach the bitch about the ravenous patterns of locust, the rise of the Black Plague, or the ongoing threat of malaria. Not to mention he'd wager the impatient wretch would just not have the patience to sit still and listen to even a short lecture before trying to kill someone or skin a kitten or some other horrific thing. Her constant repeating chasing bombardment begins to falter as her. Frustration is breaking her concentration. If she's losing focus this quickly, she really wouldn't have made it through even basic training. She's the kind of idiot who'd try to lash out at a drill instructor and get their ass kicked up and down the barracks before being thrown in jail. Still, she's drawing more and more on the shattered halo the more frustrated she gets. It's a pretty smart idea and concept. She doesn't need it, but at the same time very much does need it. She's just as dangerous without it, but without it she can't afford distraction and rage. Take it away and her temper undoes her. Still, she'll also be protective of it now and thoroughly pissed at him for smashing so much of it. A boulder thrown by Magrica is deflected with contemptuous ease. Keep your distance. Jasper calls out as Lady Alia starts to fly. She's a soul stealer. I'm anchored, but she'll twist anyone else. You must think you're very clever. Breaking my totem, resisting my spells. The shadow says before leaning closer, still holding back his swords. But nobody damages my ship and gets away with it. Idiot. It's a city with golden spires. A tower. The symbol of women chained to walls and a saying. The strong say, The weak obey. He breaks the surface as he gets a final image. A sarcophagus with a withered corpse inside. Kneeling around it are numerous women with collars keeping them absolutely still, as if death and time does not touch them. One of them rises up, the collar unlatching as she does so. She stretches somewhat and then turns. It's an Erementa, fire-based and glaring right at him. She knows he saw her. The sensation is gone. Her trail is shattered, and he pulls his claw out of the corpse. Fuck. There's really nothing else he can say. He got what seemed like a good shot in, but really should have considered things. He overestimated the effect of the null. Maybe if the blast was bigger, she wouldn't have been able to retreat. Damn it! He climbs up onto part of the now floating remains of the halo and flicks out his wings and grasps at the now thin and wispy axiom to dry them. Shit. He takes a few deep breaths and mentally curses at that as well. He was instantly lacking in oxygen and choking. That means it's more than just lung efficiency he needs to work on. His blood and muscles just can't carry enough oxygen. He's going to need a lab and at least a few weeks to start puzzling out how to get around that. He pries the corpse off his hand and takes to the air. He focuses on the symbols regaining strength in his swords, and they return to his claws obediently. A twirl to both get the feeling back in his claws and to help him think later, and he sheathes them. Sergeant Blue. Come in. Do you read? His communicator demands. Sergeant Blue here. Null wave temporarily knocked out the communicator. We're aware. What did we miss? My body is still almost entirely axiom dependent. I'm just marginally less helpless than others within Null. The shadow is not dead. I repeat, the shadow is not dead. She sent her consciousness elsewhere and I was able to observe her implanting it into the body of a fire Erementa. No shit. Hopefully these kinds of abilities stay rare. Opponents that don't die when they're killed are the definition of annoying. Oh, don't sound like you've got some kind of experience with this. Why not? I've played all sorts of video games. Even though some of them assure me that people die when they are killed. The dispatcher says, and Jasper feels his eyes twitch. Which is freaking weird when you have compound eyes. Horace, brother, are you there? Jasper asks in exasperation. Yeah, bro. Horace replies, he's out of my reach. Can you smack that idiot upside the head? Jasper asks. Sure thing. Horace replies cheerfully, wait, what? Ow. Son of a bitch. The dispatcher curses as Horace audibly smacks him. Thank you, brother. Jasper says with a bit of grin. It hasn't helped his situation any, but he's in a better mood. Anytime, little brother. Horace replies with a clear laugh in his voice. Oh well, can you do it again? Jasper asks. I would be. God damn it. The dispatcher exclaims and Horace chuckles alongside Jasper. If you do that again, I swear to God I'm blowing your triple-sized ass out the airlock. Oh, can't have that. Still, if you guys can step on the gas anymore, please do. The more I poke at this world, the more weird and dangerous things poke back, and I'm not sure I can stop poking at this point, Jasper says, and there's a snort. We'll be there soon enough. Just hang on. I'm going to have to outright declare war on an entire empire in order to get this bitch, but she's too dangerous to leave alive. It looks like I'm conquering this world. Jasper remarks. Are you certain? Her casket is in one of the tallest towers of a major, if not the capital of the Slaver Empire. No way that's accidental. Couple that with the allies I've made in literally every other part of the world, and there are only two factions I'm not feared in, fought well by or in control of. One is the Slaver Empire, the other the marauding bands that bounce around that continent. Jasper continues to explain as he touches down near the girls. It's not over. There's no way she's dead that easily. Banshee says the moment his foot claws touch the sand. I know, but she revived herself in a major city, if not the capital of the Slaver Empire. We need to get her isolated so she can't just rip out souls and do whatever the hell she wants with them. We also need to tear apart her revival mechanism, and we need to stop her from running. Our team isn't big enough for that. We need an army. Oh, She clearly expected an argument of some kind. I want to be the one to kill her. There's a difference between killing her and making sure she dies. My plan is the armies keep the city occupied. I get the shadow well away from anyone else, and you can destroy her revival mechanism, he says, holding his claws out to show the scene of the shadow's erection before them. I need you to destroy that sarcophagus, and if you can't free those girls, then at least give them a clean death. Okay, yes, I can do that. I'll gladly do that, Banshee says, and Jasper nods. Lord Blue, you need to see this, Lady Clarity says, and Jasper nods. Of course, what now? Are you all right? She had you for a moment. I'll be feeling that disgusting touch on my soul for years, but there's something more important, she says, and he nods before following the knight. She leads him to where the hostages were taken. They stare upwards at the sky, unseeing. They've been laid down comfortably on the grass beneath a tree, but none of them are moving. I see, he says, kneeling down beside the nearest one and gently holding the side of her head, trying to feel out if there's something. Anything left of her. It takes him minutes to feel even the tiniest tether.